Welcome to my $100,000 stock experiment, year 2, week 38, ending January 3rd, 2020. This isn't an endorsement to purchase any stocks that I've bought, nor an endorsement to purchase stocks in general. I'm on a mission to become a great growth stock investor. Watch me on my journey, learn from my mistakes, and celebrate my successes. The S&P 500 index hit an all-time high on Thursday. It fell on Friday and closed 6 points down since last week, right at its 8-day simple moving average. The Russell 2000 index is not looking as good as the S&P 500. The Russell 2000 had 2 big down days on Thursday and Friday, and it did close below its 13-day simple moving average. The 8-day simple moving average, that pink line, also is starting to trend down. And the fact that those bars are really long or tall is not a good sign, especially down days. The VIX, or the volatility index, is also showing a volatile week. On Friday, it spiked above 16, but it closed at 1402 for the week. My plan last week was to sell anything that triggered a floor and possibly sell something so I could buy a new stock. So I sold eHealth so I could purchase a new stock, and then NEO triggered a floor. I bought the stock with symbol DIOD on what I believe was above average volume. eHealth. So this is a stock that I sold so I could buy another one. It had a really good gain, but it had been going sideways for the last several weeks. So I held one purchase, my B1, for 8 weeks, and it was up 26%. And my B2 I held for 4 weeks, and it was up 4.7%. NEO. Last week I ranked this as my best stock chart, so I'm not happy about the sell at all, and I think that I had my floor too close. I basically lost half of my gain from last week. My B1 last week had a gain of 14.8%, and when it triggered the floor this week, I sold that B1 with a gain of only 7.6%. My B2, I had a 0.3% gain, and my my buy 3, which I've held for 1.4 weeks, was down 6.4%. This is a 1-day chart with 1-minute frequency, and this shows that basically my floor was hit within the first minute of trading, and then it recovered, and the rest of the day was fine. So it actually closed up. Here's my current holding bar chart showing 1 bar for each week that I've held the stock. And then I take a look at the individual stock charts, and I rank them in the order of weakest chart to the strongest chart. So not necessarily the most money that I've made, but the chart that I thought had the most promise. I'm actually happy with all my stock charts this week. This one is for CDW, which I rank as my weakest stock. It has been in a tight price range for the last 3 weeks, and I would consider selling this if I think I have a better prospect. But I did leave my floor because I got kicked out of NEO because my floor was too tight, so I basically didn't raise my floor on anything this week. This stock was down 1.3% for the week, and it did close right at its 13-day simple moving average. I have 2 buys in this stock. One I've held for 15 weeks, and it's up 16%, and one I've held just about 9 weeks, and it's up just about 7%. Global Payment, stock symbol GPN. This stock had a 3-week tight price pattern, and then now it has another 3-week tight price pattern. So it's basically having a hard time making a move. And I am going to be watching this for volume and possibly make a B2 if it does start going up. But I've held this for almost 7 weeks, and I only have a 2% gain in it. This is another stock that I would consider selling if I find something else that I would like to buy. ZTS. This is a stock that I bought last week. I've held it for just a week and a half, and it's up 1.1%. It has pretty tight price action. Basically, it's going sideways. It is in a pivot area according to MarketSmith. It did reach a new 52-week high this week, and I'm watching this stock for volume and would possibly make a B2 and a B3 if we get some volume in this stock. LULU. I have a nice gain in this stock. I've had it just about 12 weeks, and it's up 14%. I did leave my floor, and I am watching for some above average volume to see if I wanted to make another purchase And I'm also looking for clusters of up days. So it didn't just have 3 up days in a row. And prior to that, it had been having an up day and then a down day. So I like seeing those starting to cluster together. CZZ, this has been one of my super performers. I have 3 buys in it. One I've held for 12.5 weeks and it's up almost 57%. One I've held just under 12 weeks and it's up 47%. And one I've held just under 11 weeks and it's up 43%. It did reach a new 52-week high on Friday and it was up 2.6% for the week. It did get closer to its 8-day simple moving average, but it did still close above that. AMD, this is also a really strong stock. It was up 5.2% for the week, and it did have a 52-week high on Thursday and Friday. I also have 3 buys in this stock. One I've held for 9 weeks and it's up 36%. One I've held for just under 9 weeks and it's up 31%. And one I've held just about 6 weeks and it's up 23%. Stock symbol DIOD. This is a new purchase for me. I've held it for just 4 days and it's up 1.3%. I did buy it on the 3rd day and up volume. I'm trying to learn and practice buying on super high volume. So this is my attempt and I hope I made a good buy. It does have a relative strength and composite rating in MarketSmith of a 96 each. This week I made a little over $1,000 gain in my portfolio. My $100,000 has turned into $149,759 in the 1 year and 38 weeks I've been doing this, versus the S&P that has gone up to $121,780. I lost over $1,000 in stocks that I held last week and sold this week. My new purchases account for $129. And then my existing holdings, I had a $2,131 gain in those. My biggest contributor was AMD with $1,318, followed by CZZ of $760. Here's the weekly percentage change sorted with the lowest value on the top and the largest value on the bottom. The one in red, CDW, is the only one that did not beat the S&P 500 for this week. It went down 1.3%, and the S&P 500 went down 0.16. My dollar value gain, this is for my B1 only, shows that I have a $5,000 gain in CZZ, and my lowest value gain is in ZTS, $108. And here's the gain of all of my buys, my B1, my B2, and my B3. Down at the bottom, AMD and CZZ, I have 3 buys in, and those are the ones that I should have the biggest gain in, so I do. And then CDW is the only one that I have 2 purchases in. All the other stocks, I just have 1 buy in. I started my experiment on April 13, 2018, and then I just kept track of it every week. At the end of 2018, the week ended on December 28, 2018, and I didn't take a snapshot of what it looked like on December 31st, 2018. So for my year-to-date calculation, I started the year a little bit early. In this example here, the S&P 500 was up almost 30% for the year, 29.97. But in actuality, the S&P 500 for 2019 was up 28.9%. But I measured it using the December 28th day for my portfolio as well as the S&P 500. This year, down at number 4, I took a snapshot of what December 31st, 2019 looked like, and now I'm calculating the year starting the value at the end of that day. The bottom line showing January 3rd, 2020. The weekly change is showing the change from the end of the previous week, which was December 27th. And the year-to-date value is calculating from the value at number 4 from the end of the day, December 31st, 2019. So like I said, the S&P 500 was down 0.16% for the week, and the Melissa portfolio was up 0.8%. So that's awesome. And then year to date, I'm up 1%, and the S&P 500 is up 0.13%. The industry breakdown shows that I'm most heavily concentrated in the chip sector. I have 3 buys in AMD and then my new purchase of DIOD, followed by energy, where I have my 3 buys in Cosan. And the third sector that I'm most heavily concentrated in is the business services with my CDW. At the end of the week, I have 33,192 that I can make new purchases with or do B2s or B3s. So I'm going to be watching my existing stocks for price increase on volume to see if I want to make any new purchases there or add-on buys. The way I've been preparing a watch list really hasn't been working for me. So I'm just going to monitor the MarketSmith every day and look for stocks with above average volume and focus on buying those stocks that are breaking out on volume that have a high RS and composite rating. Thanks for watching. Keep an eye out for my next episode, or better yet, subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to hit the bell if you want an alert when I post a new episode.